Hi, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Patrick. And between the two of us, we support a collaboration of folk concerned to seed and support thriving churches across Europe's key city centres.
So, Patrick, how do you see these church plants flourishing and advancing the gospel in Europe?
Was we think of them a little bit like a beachhead. So in military strategy, you've got to land somewhere, you've got to get that beachhead, and then you expand from there. And the analogy kind of carries that if we are able to seed and support the planting of larger churches, more vibrant churches, that can be a real complement to both the sort of historic, more routine church that's been doing the things they do for a long time, and the smaller, potentially more brittle church that is very faithful and not always very fruitful. And so creating this fresh example or flagship church in the city centres address a crowd of sort of culturally aware, intellectually engaged people who seek to re-articulate and re-express the gospel in their time. Mm. And these examples, I think, can be really additive to the congregation itself, but also to their nations. And we've certainly seen that in places like New York and London, where exactly such churches have been critical in drawing together talent, in re-expressing and rethinking ways of articulating the gospel, in creating a bar of sustainability. That means that, with that many more people gathered, there's more tithing, and therefore you're able to hire better people. That draws together new talent. And so there's a sort of virtuous circle, I think, upwards, which is really significant. And if what we've seen in London, which has been a blessing, I think, both to London as a city, but indeed England as a country, if that could be replicated across Europe, 100 times, then I think Europe would be a really different place. So I think those are some of the reasons why investing in this particular narrow gospel imperative. It's not to say that many other things are not really valuable. They obviously are. But it's to say that this thing needs to happen. We need to see such churches established kind of with whatever it takes. Mm. And of course, we've chosen to deliver that through a collaborative model, whatever it takes, whoever can help. But tell me more about this collaboration. Who's in it and why do we work in this particular way?
Yeah, so we're a collaboration of donors, church planters, church planting networks, advisors, experts, a team that manage it and make it work. And I think together there's great strength, and that maybe expresses itself through courage. So I think what a lot of the Europe collaboration together brings is courage for these church planters. They're doing quite a scary thing. They're going into a big, complex, expensive city where the gospel hasn't been preached necessarily very articulately for many a year. And they're going into this beachhead, this territory, and putting their lives, their family on the line, as it were. And to have the backing of the Europe collaboration gives significant courage for that moment. And I don't think we should underestimate that. But it's even more concrete than that. I think secondly is a belief in a plan and a belief in a strategy. So we together as a collaboration work on a 5-year growth plan with each of the church planters, and we seek to work that out with them. So we're thinking about building strategy, about activities. We're thinking about staffing and volunteers. How do those develop over 5 years in order to see a vibrant, flourishing church? And so we work with them along that plan and believe in that plan. But there's also not just belief from us to them, but also belief amongst the church planters that we collect. Our church planters meet together 6 times a year online. They also meet in person, and they love those times together because they are able to sharpen one another, teach one another, believe in one another on this 5-year journey. So courage, belief. I think also accountability. We are not 20 different partners with 20 different visions for one church plant, and then the church planter having to frantically manage all those partnerships. But one collaboration with one plan that the church planters are working on. And so we bring the accountability to say, measure, how are you doing? How is it going? How can we help? How can we encourage? What are the tough spots? And that is a great strength, I think.
Amazing. So look, whatever it takes, we would love to see on the plaza and the piazza and the city square, amazing, vibrant churches where you can walk in, feel at home, you can listen to a relevant, compelling, clear gospel that address you and address your community and address your time. And we would love to invite you on that journey. This is not a flash in the pan. This is going to take time. We reckon at least a decade. But we want to learn together, invest together, work together, celebrate together the fact that God has given us his church, his extraordinary church, in which the seed of the gospel is nurtured and can flourish. And we long to bring that sort of church back to the center of the European conversation. And we very much hope that you'll join us. And so thank you very much.